Hey, welcome back traders. It's time to take a look at the markets again for the upcoming week, this time for the week of April 7th. And taking a peek at the economic calendar, you can see we don't have many high impact news this week, except for Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, we do have CPI, so make sure you are aware of that. Going into the charts, I have the dollar index pulled up on the weekly, and we see that last week we swept above this high and we kissed the order block over here. So this was the draw on liquidity that I outlined for you guys 3 weeks ago, and now we closed back in the range. Now I'm keeping my eye on this fair value gap to see whether or not it's going to lend support, or if it gets traded through, I want to see it act as an inverted fair value gap. Now since we've already hit our target on the draw on liquidity last week, I'm coming into this week with a neutral bias for the dollar index. I really want to just keep my eye on how price is going to behave around this fair value gap. Now zooming into the daily, we see that Monday and Tuesday we swept above the high, which was that draw on liquidity. We kissed the order block and then we declined down on Wednesday. And then Thursday we created a minor market structure shift below the swing low into that inefficiency. Friday was NFP. We went ahead, rallied, and rebalanced this entire fair value gap on the daily. So now, even though like on the weekly, I want to come into the dollar index with a neutral bias, when I take a look at the daily, I am going to lean towards bearish, but definitely want to keep my eye on this weekly fair value gap to see if it will become an inverted fair value gap. I'm looking at this candle on the daily to see if this order block is going to hold support or if it's going to break. If it breaks, I'm looking for the swing low down here and back into this order block and back into this volume imbalance. Now going into the S&P micros, I'm going straight into the daily chart, but note that this is going to be the weekly BISI. Price traded up, swept above this high, and then declined through this weekly BISI, and then last week on Friday, we went ahead and closed within it. Now you can see we are kind of respecting this order block right here, but because we swept the high and then we immediately created a market structure shift here, I want to see this weekly fair value gap act as an inverted fair value gap, and then I'll be looking for sell side liquidity below here, and I want to see this order block being disrespected and then look for further sell side below these lows and then back into these relative lows, which lines up well with this inefficiency and another order block. Now taking a look at the Nasdaq micros, there isn't a fair value gap on the weekly chart, but we're on the daily chart here and there is a daily fair value gap. Price came up, swept the top over here, consolidated for about a week before taking out this fair value gap to the downside. And if you look at this order block, we have closed below the mean threshold on Thursday. Then Friday we rallied back up into this daily fair value gap. So now I'm looking for this to be an inverted fair value gap to take prices lower below this low here. I want to see a market structure shift on the daily, and then if we get below here and should we start declining quickly, I'm looking for sell side below this low and also this low right here back into an old inefficiency. Now I'm not saying that this is going to happen all in this week, because from where I'm thinking and where we are currently at in price, that is a 1,000 point move. So perhaps this could happen over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But I do have these shorter term targets to aim for. So that's what I'm thinking in the markets this week. Thank you for stopping by, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me out by giving this video a like and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I provide you with my thoughts on the market each and every week, so ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on next week's video. Also, don't forget we have CPI this Wednesday, so be careful of that, and until next time guys, stay safe.